I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta make the city move. Like, whoa. I make the city move. I got the move.
The playoffs are finally here. It's been a while, but we can finally watch some quality basketball being played. In today's video, I will be taking a look at the opening round matchup for the Houston Rockets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and predicting the series. Each team's strengths and weaknesses, the player who needs to step up, the key to success, every little detail. I'll be doing this for every Houston series and maybe other series if they're interesting enough. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more, subscribe for more NBA content. I'm going to be dropping a lot of bangers over the playoffs and off season, so stay tuned. But with that said, let's take a look at this first round matchup. The Houston Rockets are coming off a historical season, winning 60 games for the first time in franchise history. James Harden is having an MVP-worthy season and has played really well this past regular season. Even with Chris Paul, he has still kept up his scoring numbers to a superb level. Of course, this success isn't just led by James Harden, there are many other factors too. CP3 is having a great season, Clint Capella continues to improve, Eric Gordon and the bench itself have been a lot better than anticipated. These factors have led to such a fantastic run, with multiple 10-game or more winning streaks. The Minnesota Timberwolves have played really well too this season, and throughout most of the season, they were a 4 or 5 seed. But unfortunately, Jimmy Butler got a torn meniscus and they fell to the 8th seed, and nearly weren't even in the playoffs. They had to pull out a clutch overtime win to get through. You could call the team a disappointment, as they really did not meet expectations, but I think the Butler injury just cost them a lot. He is back though, so if they can do it quickly enough, they could regain their former form where they were in contention for the 3rd seed. Now let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. The strengths and weaknesses for the Rockets are: strengths, shooting. This one is kind of obvious. The Rockets are the best shooting team in the league. They hit over 10 threes each game and they have one of the best offenses, and though they don't pass much, they get the job done. Every player on the team can shoot from beyond the arc well, the offense is well orchestrated. Playmaking. The team doesn't just do well on offense for no reason, there is something behind that, and it's the Rockets' outstanding playmaking. Chris Paul, a Hall of Fame playmaker, has been incredible taking the ball down the court and has always made the right move at the right time. But sometimes the Rockets can make terrible mistakes, which leads me to the Rockets' biggest weakness. Weaknesses. Turnovers. Boy, where do I begin? The Rockets this season have made a lot of turnovers and it's really cost them. I'm not going to talk about this too much, but I will later, as this weakness will come into play a lot in this series. For the Timberwolves, their strengths and weaknesses are: strengths, defense. With the inclusion of Jimmy Butler this season, the Wolves have become an above average defensive team. They are 14th in opponents' points per game, which is a big jump from last season where they were in the bottom 10. Defense is going to be absolutely crucial in this series. If they can force turnovers and shut down the Rockets' offense, then they might actually win this series. That may sound harsh, but it's true. It's the only way. Weaknesses. Rotation. In the end, Tom Thibodeau could cost the T-Wolves this series. We all know what Thibodeau likes to do, and that's play the stars of the team a lot of minutes and play rookies barely any. That's why Chris Dunn looked like a bust, and some people call this the reason for Butler's injury. But seriously, the rotation for this team is not suited for the playoffs. In a heated playoff series, an all-star playing 35 minutes a game will really tire them out, and then towards the end of the series, they will lack the energy to beat the Rockets. To put simply, Tib needs to reduce the stars' minutes, not by a lot, but a little so they don't tire out. I wouldn't call it a weakness necessarily, but it could become an issue in this series. Those are the strengths and weaknesses for each team. In each series, there is always a player in each team that needs to step up, and if they don't, then the team could lose. For the Wolves, it has to be Andrew Wiggins. It's undeniable that this season he has disappointed everyone and underperformed heaps, some even going as far as calling him a bust. I wouldn't call him a bust, maybe a bit overrated, but not a bust, but I get the point these fans are trying to make. Wiggins has regressed in every statistical category this season. His points per game have dropped by 6 points, which is shocking. His field goal percentage dropped and so have his assists. With another star on the team, you'd maybe expect his efficiency to increase, but this decreased as well. Some say it's because Jimmy Butler has reduced his role in the team, but even when Butler wasn't there, he still underperformed, averaging only 19 points a game, and his efficiency was still below than what it was last year. For the Wolves to win this series, Andrew Wiggins needs to break out and star, because otherwise Minnesota isn't enough. They were swept in the season series against the Rockets, and in these games, Wiggins only averaged 16.5 points, and in one game, he only got 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. This is really bad, so in this series, Wiggins needs to step up and get at least 20 to 23 points a game with 3 assists. He can't just stand aside and watch Butler and Towns do all the work. For the Rockets, it's James Harden. We know what Harden can be like. In the regular season, he dominates, gets MVP chance, goes into the playoffs with his head high, and heaps of potential to go all the way. And in the end, he just chokes it. In 2012, the Thunder's young Big Three lost in 5 to Miami in the NBA Finals, and that series should have been a lot closer, but Harden only averaged 12 points a game, and that really cost them. In 2015, Harden nearly lost in the second round, but his bench saved him and they came back to being down 3-1. Then, in the Western Conference Finals, he played terribly again in an elimination game, where he only put up 14 points on 18% from the field. That is crazy bad. Then last year, he underperformed again in the playoffs, choking in Game 6 against the Spurs. I'm really hoping he doesn't choke again, but the man does have a lot to prove. In his career, James Harden regresses across the board when the playoffs come around. So again, he has to end the cycle, otherwise the Rockets aren't going to go far. This doesn't just apply to this round, but every other round of the playoffs that the Rockets will play in. They rely so heavily on Harden playing well, he can't let them down. But what is the key to success? For the Wolves, it's very simple. Shut down James Harden. I don't care how they do it, they just need to do it. When Harden gets on a roll, he's very hard to stop. But when he's not playing as well, Houston's whole offense simply collapses. Shutting down Harden means shutting down Houston, and that will put Minnesota over the line if they do that in 4 games. Force turnovers, tag him as much as possible, get in his face, don't let him get the space he needs. I know it can be a hard task, but I know the Wolves are capable of doing this, only if they play at their very best. If the Rockets want to succeed, don't let James Harden get shut down. Houston's offense composes around Harden, and if he's failing, not many take the role to step up. If he's down, it's almost a guaranteed loss, but when he's balling like he normally is, it's almost a guaranteed win. Get him on fire, get him going, and he can pull away the lead and destroy the Wolves defense, and in the end, lead the Rockets to a victory. Now for my final prediction. I believe that the Rockets will win this series in 5. Now don't call me biased here, but I know I'm going to get comments saying that I am anyway, but Houston are just a better team with better star power. I honestly don't know if there is someone on the Wolves that can step up and shut down Harden, but I do think that there will be one game where Harden doesn't do great and the Wolves win. But I can't see them winning anymore. I'm sorry. Houston just have that mentality, that amazing playmaking ability that will allow them to cruise over the Wolves. But that will conclude the video. What do you guys think? Who will win, Houston or Minnesota? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.
All the way to sign this skitty.